And then the last team to talk about in this division, the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, they had some pretty big pickups. Uh, they got rid of Yannick Ngakwe to bring in Rock Yassin, and in the process of that, they cleared up room to bring in Chandler Jones. They also got a pretty good wide receiver, if you ask me, on that team. Have you heard of the guy named Devontae Adams?
No, no. Where is he from?
He played for Green Bay last year. In college, he actually played with the QB of the Raiders at Fresno State.
Oh, what number does he wear?
Where's number 17? Some people
Oh,
might consider him the best receiver in football. I don't know.
I
But
don't know that.
yeah, they got Devontae Adams, big time trade, big time contract, and big time compensation to give up for him. And that is a pretty good receiving room now. You got Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfro, um, for Derek Carr. And the Raiders last year were sixth in passing yards. Probably will go up now. Um, but they also did get a new head coach. Obviously, John Gruden got fired, or did he resign early in the season? Either way, um, and they had to get a new head coach. And they brought Josh McDaniels, who has had some history um, as being potential head coaches. Obviously, he was with Denver back when he had Tebow. Didn't have the best time there. Went back to New England. Great offices in New England. Agreed to a job with the Indianapolis Colts. Backed out of it, and now he is here and has signed a contract to be the head coach with the Raiders. What do you think of Josh Daniels as head coach of the Raiders?
It's an signing. I don't know. I don't think he's too great. I don't think he's too. I don't think he's bad. But my main thing is, you said earlier you could see everybody but the Raiders being a contender in this division. Why aren't the Raiders a contender? They made the playoffs last year, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not on that boat. I'm just trying to wonder what your mind's like. I think anybody's a contender at this point. That's obvious. But the Raiders made the playoffs last year, almost won a playoff game against a team that made it to the Super Bowl. And then they added Devontae Adams, traded basically Chandler Jones for Yannick Ngakwe. I know it wasn't that trade, but I'm just saying it's the same position. And then they added Rock Ya-Sin. I mean, they got better. There's no doubt about it.
They definitely got better, but there's a few reasons why. And even though their offense might be better, it kind of is the offense. Derek Carr, I like Derek Carr, but I still haven't seen him win a playoff game as QB. I've only seen him actually play in one playoff game, if I'm not mistaken.
He got injured before the Texans won a few years ago.
Yeah, he got injured during the season. I remember it was Trent Cole that injured him. Um, but yeah, I've only seen him play in one playoff game, and he hasn't won one yet. And I see Josh McDaniels as the head coach of this team. And I mean, if Derek Carr does have a bad game, let's say, I don't trust their Russian offense to be able to carry the load for them. And they have a good defense, not a great defense, I think, can carry them, especially with Gus Bradley now gone. Let's see how that defense is able to produce.
Yeah. I just think they're all around. I think they're all around still a good team. I don't think they make the playoffs just because based off how good that division is. But the bottom team in that division is going to have 7 wins, at least. At
They
least
might
7
all have
wins.
winning records.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're at least going to have 7 wins, the bottom team, and that's going to be scary, especially as an AFC team. That's got to be scary. So,
I mean,
I think any team can compete. I think one of these teams is just going to come out of nowhere and take over. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders or Broncos just randomly beat out the Chargers and Chiefs. It's just unpredictable in this division.
now, the one thing I'll say with the Raiders is their O line isn't very good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really trust the O line. And I mean, I don't know if I necessarily, well, I'll say this. The secondary does concern me. Jonathan Abram can be a bit of an iffy player at times.
He is.
I do like Rocky Scene. He had a big year last year, but they did have Casey Hayward who had a good year for them last year, so maybe Rocky Scene's a slight upgrade if even.
No,
but
I don't. And they also have Trayvon Moehrig, who's untapped potential as of right now. And they got Trayvon. Yeah, and they got Trayvon Mullen. Yep.
Yes, so I mean, wait and see. The secondary does give me question marks. It's very young, so that could be good or bad thing. They got Denzel Perriman, who's a decent linebacker. He's had some good years, but I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not going to expect the most from him. And obviously, they got a great pass rush. Chandler Jones, who is on a little bit of a decline, but not a major decline so far. After that week 1 game against the Titans, he didn't have his best year, but I expect him to be pretty good against Max Crosby, who is a top 5 edge rusher probably in football. Absolute monster. But that's really the concern because they did have Gus Bradley last year, who's a very great defensive line, and he's gone. So I just wonder how they're going to produce defensively this year because they were a bit of a middle of the pack team defensively last year. So that's really my main concern with them.
Fair enough, but I just think they're one of those teams that always seems to be in the game. You know what I mean? They'll win the games that you don't expect them to win. Last year, beating the Ravens week 1, you didn't expect that. I just feel like they're always a team that's going to be competitive, just like the Broncos. They could win any game, they could lose any game. I would not be surprised if the Raiders won the division. I just wouldn't.
And I mean, they made the playoffs last year, and I mean, nobody really expected them to. Even when you go into week 16, right? They couldn't lose the game. They go against the Colts. I think most people had the Colts pretty much penciled in to win that game. They go ahead and beat them late in the game. Then they have that big game against the Chargers in week 18, right? Obviously, the Chargers might have blew that game, calling the timeout. Who really knows? But either way, timeout or not, Raiders were going to go ahead and make the playoffs, right? So, I mean, they definitely have a chance to make playoffs. Like, would you be surprised if all 4 teams made the playoffs? I know that's very hard and very unlikely, but talent-wise, they could.
They could. Talent-wise, yeah, but they're not going to. I'll take the odds on that. I just can't see that happening. If that happens, it's deserved, but it's rare.